this is the Samsung Galaxy S10, a phone that I purchased last year in the month of April. And I'm sure that you guys have heard about the new S20 lineup and also seen the videos about it, which brings me to today's video because I had been debating a lot on whether to get the new phone or not, and whether this phone is still worth using right now in 2020. And there are a lot of reasons why this is the particularly interesting topic in today's video, and that is because the prices also have gone pretty down for the S10 and the S10 Plus after the launch of the S20 lineup. So that brings us to today's video. So in today's video, we'll be checking out whether the Samsung Galaxy S10 withstands the test of time, whether it is still a phone that you can consider buying in case you've got the budget for it somewhere around the sub 55,000 Indian range, on whether you can buy the S10 and still rock it as a flagship which does everything that it's supposed to do and more. On that note, what's up guys, Anubhav here, welcome to today's video. In case you guys do like it, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and without any further ado, let's get started. Alright guys, so the way we're gonna do is I'm gonna let you guys know everything that is good and bad with the current Samsung Galaxy S10, and we'll divide everything into categories so you guys can take an informed decision at the end. I've got my little book here and a pen on which I had been writing down the couple of points that I wanted to touch on about this phone and the features that it currently has. Alright guys, so the first category that we're talking about is the display, and as far as the specifications are concerned, the Samsung Galaxy S10 boasts a 6.1-inch dynamic AMOLED screen, which gives it a screen to body ratio of around 88.3%. So yes, this is the phone with the notch that is a cutout on the screen itself, on the right hand side to be specific, and the resolution of the display is 1440 by 3040 pixels, which gives it a pixel density of 550 ppi on a 19 by 9 panel. Now this display is also the Corning Gorilla Glass 6 and is HDR10 certified, and these are just specifications and numbers that Samsung has put up on the screen for us to know. But if we talk about the real life usage, hands down this is one of the best displays in the market, only outnumbered and taken over by the new lineup, which is the Samsung Galaxy S20. Now one of the main USPs of buying a Samsung flagship is the display, and if you've used a Samsung phone in the past, which I have for more than 3 generations, this is one of the main reasons why you'll be buying the phone. Nobody does displays like Samsung anymore, and the entire tech community seems to agree on it. The blacks as well as the sharpness and the crispness in a 2.5K screen along with a pixel density of 550 ppi means that everything is going to look absolutely beautiful. And I really like the form factor of the display and how it's slightly curved at the edges, and a lot of people are very controversial about the notch, but that really doesn't bother me. So if having a strong display is something that you really want on a phone that you will own, trust me, everything that you do on this phone, whether it's gaming, clicking pictures, watching movies, entertainment, the display is going to thank you, and you're going to thank it for it, because it is one of the strongest points about this phone. It's got a beautiful display, period. There's nothing else that needs to be said about this. Alright, now let's move on to the second category, which is the software and the real life usage about the specifications that it has. So the phone originally launched with Android by 9.0. However, a couple of months ago we did receive the official update from Samsung for Android 10, and since you guys know that it runs on Samsung's One UI, the One UI has also been upgraded to One UI 2.0, and Samsung has moved on a long way from TouchWiz and the cluttered home screen mess along with tons of bloatware. Yes, One UI is a little bit different compared to stock Android, but more of the features are more than welcome to be around, and the phone is very fluid, and I actually really like One UI 2.0. It lets you configure a lot of things straight from your notification bar, and the themes as well as the night modes and a little bit of the customizations that you can do here and there are very welcome, and they do not really mess up your performance in that regard. And plus you've got the latest and greatest right now, Android 10. So again, a huge thumbs up in terms of software. Samsung has taken good care of this and updated it, and the software doesn't really bottleneck the hardware, so to speak. So again, display, a big thumbs up, and so for software. Now let's move on to the hardware and see how it ranks up with some of the phones in today's day and age. Alright, so now we're getting into hardware. This is the place where every phone seems to compete with better processors and better GPUs and bigger numbers numbers on the screen. So as far as the hardware specifications are concerned, the Samsung Galaxy S10 either comes with a Snapdragon 855 or an Exynos 9820, which are both octa-core processors depending upon where you get it. So if you're watching from India or you're in the Asian subcontinent, chances are you'll be getting the Exynos variant, which is Samsung's own processor. But don't feel bad, because both of these processors throw everything out of the ballpark when it comes to performance. Now, both of these phones also come with either the Mali 676 GPU, which you get if you get the Exynos variant, or the Adreno 640, which you get if you end up picking up the Snapdragon variant if you're buying this phone in the States or something like that. Now, both of these GPUs are extremely powerful, and along with 8 gigs of RAM on both the models, you really wouldn't find anything to lag on this phone. So if you're a gaming freak, if you love playing PUBG, and if you're a high-end user like I am on my phone, then chances are performance bottleneck is not something you'll encounter. As far as storage options are concerned, you either get the 8GB plus 128GB variant, which is the one that I own. There is no 64GB variant, and trust me when I say this, 128 gigs along with an expandable storage option up to 512 gigs is a lot for a smartphone. Yes, you could also end up getting the 256GB internal storage version in case you want to, but I find that 128 gigs is more than enough. Now, something else that I would like to add, which I think should have been improved, is the type of storage. So this still runs on UFS 2.1. It's not 3.0, which is found in the newer phones out there. And while it's not something that you noticed on a day-to-day usage, since it is a flagship and you can find it on phones that you can buy right now, including the OnePlus 7 Pro and others, at a price lower than this, that's something you might want to consider when it comes to storage speeds. But other than that, as far as real life usage is concerned, it doesn't really bother me that much, but it's just something that I wanted to mention so you guys have the full idea. Alright, so I've turned my page. Let's talk about cameras. So the Samsung Galaxy S10 has a triple camera setup on the back, along with a heart rate sensor, which is pretty handy in case you guys like to track your heart rate levels in Samsung Health and you're sort of a sports freak or are athletic in any way. Alright, coming back to the cameras, the first camera is the normal wide camera, which is a 12 megapixel sensor with an f-stop of 1.5. Then we've got a telephoto with a 2x optical zoom, which has a 12 megapixel sensor with an aperture of f2.4, and we finally got the ultra wide camera, which is a 16 megapixel sensor with an aperture of f2.2. Now, both the wide and the telephoto camera have optical image stabilization in them for video, and as far as the ultra wide camera is concerned, it's a really good camera when it comes to clicking pictures. The colors are great. You've got the typical Samsung fashion colors. They'll be a little more saturated than usual, but when it comes to sharpness and low light, things look pretty good for a flagship level camera, at least for the time when it was launched. The cameras will obviously be better on the S20 and the S20 Ultra. I honestly don't know who's using the 100x telephoto zoom, though. It's more of a gimmick than a feature that I would actually use. Even the 8K video seems to be cropped in, and it's 24 FPS, which means that the rolling shutter effect that you get is really terrible. And since it does it with the telephoto, I don't really see myself using it as much, even if I plan on getting it. Alright, back to the S10, flip it over and you've got the front camera. The front camera is a 10 megapixel sensor with an aperture of f1.9. And as far as selfies are concerned, Samsung always has been sort of average when it comes to front cameras, but being a guy who doesn't really take a lot of selfies, this doesn't really bother me. But if you are a selfie person, know that most of the pictures you take will be sort of soft, because they try to sort of soften your skin even if you turn that filter off all the way. And it's not the best selfies out there, but it's still not bad in any way. So average selfies, but really good back cameras. So that is something that you should keep in mind. Another thing that you should definitely keep in mind is that while the ultra wide camera helps you get amazing shots for a smartphone, there is this distortion at the end, which gives it this fisheye like look, which again is something that they have fixed in the new lineup. It's not as wide as it is on the S10, but it does not have that weird distortion that it has on the Samsung Galaxy S10. So that is something that you should keep in mind. So as far as video capabilities are concerned, this phone can shoot 4K at 60 FPS. Yes, so there's no crazy 8K, but there's no crazy crop in on the 4K as well. So it's actually usable 4K 60 FPS, which I think is, much better than having 8K but not having any place to use it. Now do keep in mind that if you're shooting at 4K 60 frames per second, you will not get any sort of stabilization. However, you can shoot 4K 30 or 24 or 1080p and 720p at 960 frames per second, which is what Samsung calls super slow-mo. Again, this is something that is purely a marketing gimmick, at least for me, because the amount of light that you need to even get a decent looking 720p video at 960 frames per second is abnormal, and trust me, you won't find that amount of light unless you're shooting in direct sunlight. Either way, it's good to know that the phone can do that. But as far as video is concerned, if you're using a third-party app or even the stock camera application, video is great. 4K 24 or 30 looks absolutely good. And if you're using the ultra-wide lens, which you can while shooting video, you get that super steady look. And otherwise you get OIS plus EIS, something which is the hybrid stabilization that Samsung uses it, and you get more or less stable videos. The videos are really good and the photos are really good as well, and the camera also receives a very big thumbs up from my side. So till now we've got software, we've got display, we've got camera and hardware, which seems to be putting everything in a pretty good place. So what exactly is wrong with this phone? Well, let's move on to the next category, which is speakers. So as far as speakers are concerned, yes, the Samsung Galaxy S10 does have a set of stereo speakers. However, the placement of the speakers is very weird, and this is something that I've been encountering on Samsung devices for a very long time now. So let's say you're playing a game, you end up covering it like this because you're holding your phone like this, and it sort of muffles the sound, which is super normal to happen, but that is one of the things that you have to give up. The sound quality is pretty good, but I have seen better sound on better devices, especially the iPhone. So that's that. But hey, don't click away yet. You have got a headphone jack in the Samsung Galaxy S10, which again is not there in the S20 lineup. Now we can argue all day about whether wireless audio is the new thing. That is something most phone manufacturers are going to get rid of in the next 5 years. But at the end of the day, as of right now, wired audio quality will always remain better than wireless audio quality, and just having the option to plug in a pair of headphones really seems to do the job for me, and I'm sure it will do the job for you as well. So that's a plus when you're looking at the Samsung Galaxy S10. The headphone jack is still here, along with wireless capabilities. Of course, you can still plug in Bluetooth and use your wireless headphones, but when you're wanting to do some real stuff, you can plug in the headphone jack and get that actual crisp quality that you want. Alright, now let's talk about the battery. Now this is where things start to go a little bit wrong, because the Samsung Galaxy S10 has a 3400 milliamp hour battery, and while it comes with a 15 watt fast charger in the box, and it charges pretty quick up to 100% in 1 hour and 40 minutes, 1 hour and 30 minutes if you're charging it from scratch, the battery life is just okay. And let me explain why this happens. This is a 1440 by 3040 pixel display, which gives it a pixel density of 550 ppi, which is one of the better things of the S10. It's got a gorgeous display. However, pair that display with a 3400 milliamp hour battery, and you've got a battery that isn't going to last you longer than 5 hours of screen on time tops. That too if if you're a low end to a medium end user. For a high end user like me, if I go out and I constantly use my phone on a full charge, I'll be running around to find a Type-C charger, because this is going to get to 15% really quick because of that display and pushing so many pixels at the same time. And if you're, God forbid, if you're doing some gaming, then you're gonna have to either carry a power bank with you, or you're gonna have to carry a charger with you, because you never know when this thing is going to die. And this is something that again Samsung has struggled with for a longer time, and again something that I can see that should be improved in the S20 lineup, because they've got bigger batteries, which is a big relief. Now as far as wireless charging is concerned, you can also wirelessly charge this at 15 watts, and it also supports reverse wireless charging. So any phone that supports wireless charging, you can just turn on wireless power share, lay your phone down like that, put another phone on top of it, and it's going to charge it with a capacity of 9 watts. So the battery is just average. It's okay. Could have been better, is better. So if you're looking for a longer battery life, I would, suggest you to pass on the Samsung Galaxy S10 because the battery is not one of its strong suits. Now, talking about a few other miscellaneous, features that I wanted to touch on before we end this video is the Bluetooth 5.0. So this phone comes with Bluetooth 5.0, meaning that you can connect more than, one Bluetooth audio device to it and control both of them from this phone. So let's say you've got two Bluetooth headphones, you can give one of them to your friend, wear one of them yourself, connect both of them to this phone and listen music on the go while being connected to just one phone. This is something that I have used a lot and I find it really cool, so I thought of mentioning it. Also, as far as security is concerned, you've got that ultrasonic fingerprint sensor, which we've seen in a lot of phones nowadays. It is pretty fast, pretty responsive, and definitely much more secure than just an on-screen fingerprint sensor that the OnePlus 6T as well as the OnePlus 7 Pro come with. So that's that. Now, all of these things you should pretty much paint a picture by yourself. It's got a great display, it's got a great camera, it's got a good set of hardware and software specifications which complement each other. It's got a average battery and it does not have the best sounding set of speakers along with the ergonomic difficulty that I mentioned before. However, the price right now, which I guess is around 54 or 55,000 if you get this variant right now, is pretty justifiable if you are looking to buy a phone that has flagship specifications and does pretty much everything pretty well without really burning a hole in your pocket compared to the S20 Ultra, which costs over $1 lakh here in India. So let me know what you guys think of it. Let me know if you guys are planning to pick this up. In my honest opinion, this is a very solid phone even now, and I don't plan on replacing it anytime soon. I could get a new phone, but I'll still keep using this because honestly, it's a great phone. I love the display, I love the camera, and there's nothing else I could complain about. And I hope this video interested you guys. I hope you guys liked it. If you guys did, don't forget to drop a like. Comment below, what do you think about the S10? Do you agree or disagree with some of the points that I said? Until then, this is Anubhav signing out. You guys have a great day. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.